and members of the bipartisan task force. My name is Andrew Woods. I'm a resident of Hartford. I'm also a executive director of a nonprofit youth serving organization in the city of Hartford. We've been around since 1998, providing the youth workforce development, college and career readiness training, after-school programs, summer enrichment programs for school-age youth. In addition, I'm also contracted by the city of Hartford to provide crisis intervention and mental health support for those impacted by both homicides and other violent crimes in the city of Hartford. Since 1998, Hartford has experienced an average of 1 homicide per week, amounting to over 720 homicides and nearly 3 times as many non-fatal shootings during this 15-year time frame. Personally, I've responded to, as a crisis worker, probably around 1/3 of those homicides in the city of Hartford, making sure that families get the kind of mental health support, grief counseling that they deserve in our city. The vast majority of these homicides have been committed by individuals using handguns versus the much debated use of assault rifles and machine guns used in mass killings such as Columbine and recently Newtown, Connecticut. Though much has been discussed about mental health screening and treatment, I would suggest the panel also consider the mental health impact violence has on urban youth who have for far too long endured the trauma and grief associated with gun violence. In addition, there's a tendency to criminalize first the behaviors and actions of Black and Hispanic youth charged with shooting and or killing others, but clinicalizing white suburban youth who shoot and kill others. In other words, in our society, we tend to believe that when a white youth kills or shoots someone, there must have been a psychological reason for their actions, and when a youth of color commits the same crime, the reason must be criminal in nature. As a point person for the city of Hartford charged with responding to homicides and shootings and making sure families gain knowledge and access to mental health supports, I can tell you firsthand that mental health supports for all youth and families are critical. Further, there are mental health strategies that can identify and intervene in the lives of youth at risk for harming themselves and others. In conclusion, I would like to make several recommendations for you to consider. 1, it should be a Class A felony for anyone, and I mean anyone, convicted of selling firearms illegally in the state of Connecticut, and I would further stretch that nationally. And 2, it should be a Class C felony for gun owners who didn't report a stolen or missing gun which was eventually used in the commission of crimes. Both of these appear to be the main reasons why youth in Hartford are the suppliers of the guns that we receive in the city of Hartford. 3rd, trauma-informed treatment strategies should be standard protocol for children who witness, experience, and are environmentally exposed to violence, such as in urban centers where violence is commonplace. 4th, capacity building, technical assistance, and funding should be made available to grassroots and faith-based organizations engaged in youth development youth development work that target at-risk youth in high-crime neighborhoods. And lastly, I would encourage the state of Connecticut to stand behind the Youth Promise Act, which is actually something that was sponsored by and continues to be sponsored by Congressman Bobby Scott in Virginia and has been signed on by over 235 members of Congress, including Congressman Lawson. And this is a real critical piece of legislation that is very, very comprehensive in nature and working with communities that are under the types of distress that I've just outlined inside my testimony today. And so I believe that I certainly emailed this to you, and I believe that you may have hard copies as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.